right, I am back with part 2, episode number 4. This is the remainder of the footage of my road trip from Canada to Arizona, as well as an interview with a really good friend of mine. So today's interview is with my really good friend, Haley Gibson. She is from Red Crest, California. I was going to say Colorado. No, it's a little bit closer to the ocean.
Yeah.
And the reason why, the reason I decided to interview her is because I thought some of us from Canada have it hard when we're trying to make the NFR or even the CFR for that matter. Well, driving down the 101 to come see Haley, I realized that you have to have a lot of grit and a lot of determination to be on the rodeo trail, because it is 4 hours for her on really, really windy roads to be able to get to any major interstate to start getting on the rodeo road. So why don't you tell us a little bit of what it's like to actually be taken away from home for weeks on end, because it's not like you can just pop back in unless you have the time to spend at home, and what it's like to be pro rodeoing from such a remote area.
Yeah, I'm about 4 hours from any major interstate, like she said, any jackpot barrel race, team roping. I always add about 4 hours to my trip. So what would normally be a one-day rodeo for some, like a 5-hour drive, is 2 days for me because of the roads that it takes to get out of the county. There's 3 ways in and out. We have Highway 101, we have Highway 36, and Highway 299, which are all 2-lane highways on the side of a cliff and switchbacks the whole way, about 4 hours. It's 97 miles or something, and it takes 4 hours to get. So with that, it takes a lot of planning.
Right. Support from family.
A lot of support from family. My mom and my boyfriend stay home. They take care of the horses that I leave, the dogs that stay back, the bills that come up while I am gone. If, like when the California run comes over and we have a rodeo, say, every weekend, I just stay out at friends' houses along the Highway 5 because I'm so far out and I can't come home and rest, because then if I do, it's only for 2 days, and then I'm a 9-10 hour drive back to where I need to go.
Right, so it's easier on the horses as well to be able to just cut that extra 4 hours of driving one way and let them rest at friends' places instead of putting those extra miles on them. So you're spending a lot of time away from home.
Definitely.
So something I forgot to mention is you've had a super awesome season this year. You only went a minimum amount of rodeos because of life being in the way, and some horses being hurt, so it kind of cut your season off differently than what you were planning at the beginning of the year with me. But you had some pretty cool rodeo success. You top 10 in the average at Salinas, and also top 10 in the average in Pendleton, which is cool. Both rodeos are short go rodeos, so you have to qualify, and then you ended up 10th in the top 10 in the average.
Yeah.
So congratulations.
Thank you.
It's pretty cool. I got to watch it on TV a little bit. And so why don't you just tell everybody a little bit of the mental preparation of being at those big rodeos, because I mean, like you said, you have a little bit more on your plate with being away from home all the time, and so you were on the road quite a bit for those ones. You said you were away for 10 days at Pendleton alone. What's it take mentally to be able to be away on the road, and what it's like to be in that top 10, to get there, what's that feel like, kind of thing?
Well, to get to that place, you just have to plan, be a really good planner, and be able to roll the punches, because your plan never does work. So you have to be able to make plan B, or just kind of know that things happen for a reason and not get too hyped up about it, which is a learning curve for me, because that was a weak point of mine, which now is quickly becoming a strong point.
Right. That's great.
Being in the short go at Salinas was incredible. It was the first short go that I've made in a pro rodeo, and I can't even explain to you the feeling, but just the energy that the girls have that you're with, and the crowd, and you all become like a family, and everybody roots everybody on, and it's just a lot different than what you perceive,
Right.
you know, before you get there. Pendleton, that's a whole nother ball game. That place is incredible.
Yeah.
The short go at Pendleton Roundup left me speechless. I was in awe. I was looking at the crowd as the girls were running before me, and just looking at them and hearing the roar and the electric energy in the building. And it's something that you can't put into words. You just have to go and feel, because it's nothing short of incredible.
That's so cool. I'm hoping to run with you there this year. We're actually going to try and rodeo a little bit more than we tried this year. We're getting geared up for the South Run, and down in Arizona together we're going to hit some rodeos up and some fraternities and derbies and open jackpots, so we'll be able to have more time on the old YouTube together.
Oh boy, look out.
Oh boy, it could be fun. Okay, before I forget, I do have a little bit more intense questions for you.
Yeah.
What is
Uh-oh.
What is one thing that you wish somebody would have told you or pointed out before you got into rodeoing? Like, I know I wished I would have had a little bit more guidance when I joined, like to be able to run for my rookie year or whatever. Like, I missed out on the shots for that because I was too busy going through the ups and downs on my own, figuring out the hard way. But what is something that you wished you could, if somebody was just starting out, whether it was remote like you or easier traveling, like somewhere a little bit more central, what is one thing that you wish that you would have been told right at the beginning?
There is no expiration date. That's the main thing, because you put so much pressure on yourself. You make a plan or goal, and you feel like you have to accomplish that right away. Well, that's not the way life works.
Yeah.
You know, and that's just, it's about the journey. It's not about the end.
Destination, yeah.
Right. So that was the main thing, and having a mentor, someone who's done it and been there, and they can help you if you have questions and just give you advice, so you're not running around the countryside going to all these rodeos thinking that you have to, putting miles on your horses in your truck and trailer, when if you just relax and you take the rodeos that mean something, and you go and just make the same old jackpot run that you always do, and don't put too much pressure on yourself or overthink,
Right.
then it's going to be a lot easier and a lot funner for you and your horse.
That's the thing. At the end of the day, we need to remember that we do this for fun because we love it.
Right.
And it's really easy to lose that thought when the crunch of money is putting that pressure on you and everything.
Right, yeah.
So.
I do not rodeo for a living.
Yep.
I know I have a lot of jobs, and I'm an entrepreneur back home, so there's a lot more on my plate than just rodeoing and running barrels. I'm trying to balance it all out, and that's half the fun
Yep.
in itself, because it is a constant battle.
Exactly. Yeah, it's tough mentally to be on the road, away from family, but it's also a reward too when just you get that little accomplishment. Whether it's a young horse that did something right, or you finally felt like you rode your good horse perfectly to
Right.
his benefit and your benefit. So it's, yeah, there's a lot of reward and a lot of work between, or you know what I'm saying. I don't know what I'm saying.
I totally know what
But-
you're saying. I just can't put it into words.
Yeah, it's hard. Like, words can't really describe what, like, you can kind of explain it, but until you live being out on the road, there's no words to describe what it's actually truly like.
Right.
All right, so before we take off to go back to the branding, because we're actually skipping work to do
Yeah.
this interview, and also so I could take some cool pictures of the scenery, because Northern California is stunning. I mean, the redwood trees and all the other trees, you might be remote, but it is stunning out here.
Yep. We live in a beautiful country. We call it the Redwood Curtain, and
It's beautiful.
Humboldt County. Y'all look it up.
Yep. So one last question: what is one thing that you can't live without? What is one thing you can't live without? That's what I'm trying to say. On the rodeo road.
GPS.
Yeah.
Or just, like your traditional paper map, because GPS can lead you astray.
Yeah.
Put you in positions that you don't want to be in, with a 30 freaking foot trailer behind you, and you're on a one-way dirt road that's flooded or something crazy. But
Yeah.
that has happened to me. So
Oh boy.
that was an adventure in itself.
Yep. Life's a journey.
Yeah,
and
that's for
adventure.
sure.
Perfect. All right. So a map, a good old-fashioned paper map,
Get your map.
is something very
It's like
important.
$2
Yeah.
American.
$3 Canadian. Probably more.
Maybe.
All right. Well, thank you so much, my friend.
Yes, thank
And
you.
Stay tuned because Haley and I will have lots of adventures in our future